All right, guys, I am ready to throw a wheel-thrown vase inspired by the planet Uranus. Uranus is the seventh planet in our solar system. It's part of the gas giants. They call Uranus and Neptune actually ice giants because they're so cold, a lot of the chemicals end up freezing and swirling around the planet in clouds of ice. It's blue-green in color. It's made up of methane, ammonia, ice, water, and it rotates on its side kind of interestingly. Something possibly impacted it a long time ago, hit it, knocked it on its side, which also gives it a set of rings a lot like Saturn, although not as dense as Saturn's rings. Uranus is about 4 times the diameter of Earth, so it's quite a bit bigger. Uranus is the coldest planet. Even though it's not the furthest from the sun, it's the coldest, which I think is really interesting. Uranus was the Greek god of the heavens and the sky. So I think it's interesting, all the planets are actually named after Roman gods, but Uranus is the only one that's named after a Greek god. So because of that, I thought I would go ahead and throw a Greek-style vase, something that might hold water or wine or something like that in ancient days. So this one's going to be quite a bit different. It's going to have a longer neck, I hope. I did some sketches to kind of get an idea of what I wanted to do here. So I thought I would go ahead and use Florentine. So my green, and I've got Wedgwood blue, mason stain. I'm going to wedge these together to make a blue-green. And because Uranus was in Greek mythology, the god of sky and heavens, I thought I would wedge in some white porcelain to kind of make it look a little cloudy, wispy, make those bands, marbling bands kind of elevate, kind of become vertical and move throughout the clay wall vertically. So again, I'll be reversing the wheel continuously just to make that happen, just to make that marbling move up throughout the clay wall. All right, let's get started. So I start by mixing the mason stain. Make a little bowl out of the porcelain here. This is English Rollick. And just put a little water inside that bowl. And this is Florentine green mason stain. I'm first going to mix the green, and then I'm going to mix the blue, and then I'll mix the two together to get a blue-green for Uranus. And I'm going to take the outside of the bowl and I'm going to pinch it to the inside, mixing that mason stain in. I really like the marbling there. Most of it's mixed in. I'm going to take some more white that I left off to the side. I'm going to wedge that white throughout it just to give it more contrast. I really want this to look like sky, swirling, since the Greek god of Uranus is the guy of the sky and the heavens. Thought I would do that. Okay, I've now wedged in some of the white marbling. I'm going to throw this kind of vertically this way because I want the textures to actually climb. I don't want them to be horizontal. I want them to be more vertical. The tendency of the wheel tends to stretch and move the particles horizontally, but I want to kind of combat that. I'm going to be reversing the wheel back and forth, which is going to throw the clay particles off and the centering off a bit, which is really hard to wrestle with. But again, I love the textures that it gives me, the movement of the marbling. So it's a hard, really hard thing to do. It tends to throw off on the center. Even if you have it perfectly centered, it won't be. It'll actually be off center just a little bit, but I manage that as I move along. So I'll be throwing it this way, vertically, just straight down, to try to capture that vertical movement. All right, this is the part I really like. I enjoy the most. I'm gonna use a rib, a metal rib, to remove the slip off the outside. I don't know what this is gonna look like until I do this part, and hopefully the textures turn out really good. I'll help to shape this a little bit better too with this rib. All right, I'm ready to set this aside for a bit, let it dry out. Just about a medium leather, and then I'll trim the bottom. There's a lot more that I'll do with it to finish it out, but I really like the way this turned out. I wanted to really channel sky, and I think a lot of that does move vertically. Some of that white moves vertically. I think when this is fired, I think it's going to be super cool. I just hope the color turns out, and we'll find out.